Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Kaizer Chiefs loses 2-0 to the Cape Town Spurs. And I have to tell you I am so glad this season is over. I am so glad Kaizer Chiefs didn't beat Cape Town Spurs and make it into the MTN 8. Because number one, we are going to face Sundown's first game, one of the first games in the season ever. I am so happy that this season is gone because this game we played today, this game sums up our whole season. Let me give you guys an understanding. Cape Town Spurs today was relegated almost 2 weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago. We all knew Cape Town Spurs is going to be playing in the NFD. So, Kaizer Chiefs in this whole season has failed to beat an NFD team both in a professional setup and in friendlies. If you guys remember, Chiefs was failing to beat NFD teams in friendlies like University of Pretoria, etc. We were failing to beat NFD teams in friendlies, and I won't even talk Nedbank Cup. We know Midfield beat us, and if you want to know where Midfield is on the NFD log, Midfield is somewhere number 14, 13, somewhere there on the NFD log. So we got beaten by a team that is even lower in the log in the NFD. What I'm trying to tell you today is that Kaizer Chiefs got beaten and Kaizer Chiefs is playing like an NFD team. Kaizer Chiefs this season played like an NFD team. If I tell you how Kaizer Chiefs ended up with 36 points, I don't know. I will be lying to Angaz. But Cape Town Spurs should actually, when you look at Cape Town Spurs today and you look at Kaizer Chiefs, the one thing I can tell you is this. Cape Town Spurs played way better than Chiefs, and I don't understand how Cape Town Spurs is the team that is actually getting relegated and going to play in the NFD. But anyway, let's chat about this game. We're going to be breaking down the rest of our season in other videos, but let's talk about this game. First 45 minutes, I want to highlight these few topics. But before I get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Yes, we're finally done with the season's Jabulile, but subscribe, guys. Mtetwa was so poor today. Sometimes I feel sorry for him. I don't know how a player goes from being the best player in the PSL when he was at Stellenbosch to absolutely the game he played today was, I think, the worst game Mtetwa has played in his life. Like, I don't know. Mtetwa today could not pass a Chiefs player. Mtetwa today could not mark even. Mtetwa today was passing Cape Town Spurs left, right, and center. But one thing I'll say is this. As much as I'm going to say this about Mtetwa, he doesn't know how to pass Chiefs players. But let's be honest with ourselves. Let us actually be honest with ourselves. Which defensive midfielder in Kaizer Chiefs actually knows how to pass Kaizer Chiefs players? Yeah? Let us be honest. Does Castillo know? Does Matt know? Does Sitebe know? Does Mtetwa know? Those four guys have failed to put together passes in the midfield. They have failed. It was even funny for me today that they substituted Mdantsane, who did more than Mtetwa and Sitebe. And I found it so weird. I was like, why Mdantsane? What did Mdantsane do? Mdantsane was all over the field covering. But anyway, next one, Ranga. In previous videos, I was telling you guys that Uranga Chivavero, I don't think is a good striker for Kaizer Chiefs, and I don't think he should be playing for Kaizer Chiefs. And a lot of you were saying, no, he hasn't been given a chance. We want to see him with a new coach, etc. And I was like, guys, I know when I see a player and I know when I look at a player's fundamentals. Ranga can pass. Ranga today can shoot. Ranga, like, you can be playing on a bad team, guys. I can understand, ne? But you can't just be like, I don't know what. Like a person who has never played soccer today. I'm going to make an example. I can play better football than Ranga Chivavero. Me, guys. I'm telling you, I can play soccer better than Ranga Chivavero. The reason why I'm saying this is because I have oftentimes been playing on poor teams. But when you play on poor teams, you make things happen as a striker. You find ways to get into the box and make things happen. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Midfield. Kevin Johnson decided that he's going to die by the fact Yogut he wants to play Sitebe and Mtetwa, or second half Sitebe and Mat. He wants to die by those combinations. But one thing we've seen throughout the season, which we've been crying about throughout the season, is that when you play those two combinations, you automatically have decided that you don't want to play soccer from the middle. Why do I say that? Mtetwa, Sitebe, Mad, Sitebe, they cannot function together in the midfield. They don't know how to play together in the midfield. Fun fact, we have been crying about Sitebe and Mad from last season with Athazwane. With Athazwane, we were saying Sitebe and Mad could not work together. Do you know what the coach you guys call a plumber, who is Athazwane, did? Athazwane eliminated one of them. He started playing with Usitebe as the only number 6 player last season. Why did Athazwane do this? Because he saw that the team doesn't function when these guys play together, because they both are not creative. So it doesn't make sense for them to play together. So last season, Athazwane made an adjustment, and you guys, as the Chiefs fans who chased away Athazwane, you guys called Athazwane a plumber. That Molefe Ntseki, a Bafana coach, Kevin Johnson, who's called Platinum Stars Supersport, have failed to identify that problem the entire season. The entire season, these guys failed to make that one adjustment to say, we cannot play with a double pivot that consists of Sitebe, that consists of Matt, Castillo. We cannot play those guys together. It must always only be one of them. One. They failed to do that. And Kevin Johnson said, he doesn't care. He will die by this decision. And because Kevin Johnson said he's going to die by this decision, we lost 2-0 today. And a lot of you will say, hey, but I'm telling you, this season has been bad for us because of that double pivot. That double pivot has stopped us from being creative. And a lot of people have been saying, but it helps us be defensive. Guys, when you are defensive, you can be a defensive team, not with a player, but with a system. Sundowns is not the best defensive team in the league because they have the best system in the world, the best players in those positions. Yes, they do have good players, but their system is so good that it doesn't expose a player's weakness. For example, Allende is one of the shortest players in the league, and he's not the strongest player in the league. But isn't he one of the players who's always doing defensive work, always in doing a DM position? Why can Allende, who is not actually built as a DM, do a DM's job in the Sundown system? You know why? Because the team compensates for Allende's work from the front, because Sundowns marks from the front. So if you are a player, if you are a team, you have to go through phases to beat Sundowns. You can't just beat Sundowns with one pass. You have to beat Sundowns in phases. And by the time you get to the last phase, it's difficult for you because Sundowns, what happens is that they rebuild phases. So you pass one phase. When you finish passing one phase, they try as much as possible to block you in that phase. When you go to the second phase, the players you beat the first time have reinforced the second phase. So you keep having to beat the same players over and because they keep slowing you down with it. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Another thing, this one I highlighted in the previous game, and I know a lot of you didn't mention anything about it, but I'm highlighting it today. The playing Jensen at right back. I said from the last game, I said Jensen should not play at the right back position because he tried to, Athazwane and them tried to play him at right back in the DDC, and they saw that he doesn't have good defensive and positioning ability at right back, right? So they moved him to more a right wing or a striker. That is where Jensen has been playing for the past 2 seasons in the DDC. He has not been playing right back in the past 2 seasons. He has been playing right wing, left wing, or striker because they saw that he has defensive problems of positioning, etc. Today he was exposed with that. he was exposed that he can't position himself because on his side it was a freeway. What made his side worse is that he was playing with an inexperienced right wing. They put Mdu Shabalala at right wing and they put Jensen at right back. Mdu Shabalala doesn't know how to play right wing. I don't care who you are and I don't care what you say. Mdu is an 8 or a 10. Mdu does not play on the wing. Why? Mdu does not have pace. Mdu is the second striker, a number 10. Don't put him on the wing. You will, number one, shut down his game. He won't be able to function. You will shut down his game. And number two, you expose him because he's not good in defense. And that is what happened today. And another thing that I highlighted in the previous game is that what's going to happen when you put Jensen at right back is that you guys, the fans, are going to attack Jensen. Because if you make Jensen at right back, the boy has pace. So because the boy has pace, he's always going to find himself getting into positions to cross. And I knew for a fact, I highlighted this last week, even though he didn't make even one cross last week. I said, Jensen is not going to do good crosses when he plays at right back, and the fans are going to hate it. The fans are going to turn on Jensen. And I said, that is the problem with playing a player out of position. You make his fan base turn against him because he can't do what he was not trained to do. Next one, Ditlokwe. Ditlokwe was very casual in the first half. I wanted to highlight that I don't think Ditlokwe will be a future Chiefs player. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong because I liked what he was at SuperSport. But when I look at him at Chiefs, he just looks behind the quality of what Msimango and I know a lot of you don't like Dove, but Ditlokwe is just not at that level, and it worries me that we've tried to buy a lot of defenders, center backs, but it's not working. Like I watched Ditlokwe today, and he just didn't give me confidence. Cupido goal, I wanted to tell you this. Is the first goal. Didn't it remind you of Ntanzane's goal last season when Cape Town City beat us on the last day? It was basically the exact same goal. And we all know that goal that we conceded now today from Cupido in the first half. That goal was more Mtetwa. Mtetwa went and, you know what? That thing that Mtetwa does, I don't know what to say about that, because when you watch the replays, just go and watch the replays and watch. When the ball falls to Mtetwa number one, there are about 7 players of Kaizer Chiefs around him, and there's about 2 to maybe 3 Cape Town Spurs players, not around him, but just in the area. So Mtetwa could have trapped the ball, looked around and passed. But Mtetwa, instead of trapping the ball, he kicked it directly at the Spurs player. And the weird thing is that Mtetwa today didn't want to hold the ball. The ball would come, it would be a moment for him to chase the ball. He would not chase it, he would header it back, but he wouldn't header to a Chiefs player. He kept headering the ball when he's meant to trap, and that is a bad thing to do as a defensive midfielder. As a defensive midfielder, your aim is to keep the ball and circulate the ball. If you are the guy who's losing the ball, you are losing the essence of what it means to be a defensive midfielder. So today, Mtetwa was not playing like a defensive midfielder. And then, and then the one thing I wanted to mention today, this goes to the second half, which I want to touch on some second half points, which isn't much, is that today, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I want to say, coaching is very, very important. Coaching is important whether you are a Kaizer Chiefs, whether you are a Barcelona, whether you are a Real Madrid, whether you are Bayern Munich, whether you are Sundowns, Pirates, I don't care who. Coaching is important. Kevin Johnson sacrificed Hlanti in the second half to put in attackers. Where did Michael Morton score his goal? Where did Michael Morton score his goal? Exactly at the place where Kevin Johnson sacrificed a player. Today, we survived not losing 5-0 against Cape Town Spurs because when Kevin Johnson eliminated Hlanti and tried to make Mad the next centre back, we lost. Because from that moment there, Kaizer Chiefs had no option of winning the game. It's not to say I like Hlanti, but what Hlanti did in that position is that he just protected the balance of the team. Kevin Johnson eliminated the balance of the team at the back, and he just put players who can play together. One thing I'll say is this. Why is Sabelo Khatebe, number one, putting on a Kaizer Chiefs shirt? Because today I don't know how this guy has been at Kaizer Chiefs for so long. Number one. Number two, why did Sabelo Khatebe play so many more minutes than Samkelo Zwane? Today, I don't think Samkelo Zwane was even on the bench. So my question is, Samkelo Zwane has been on the bench for the past, I don't know how many games. People have been coming on. Jansen got his debut. Everyone got a run on the field. Samkelo Zwane has just been on the bench. So how does Sabelo Khatebe get the head of a Samkelo Zwane who did so well last season? But anyway, maybe that's me. Let me try close out because I don't want to make the video too long. I mentioned that we're bad at set pieces. That's one I mentioned. Martin Sitebe. The last one I want to highlight is this. Castillo lacks awareness. I told you guys in the previous videos, I've been telling you on game and again that Castillo should never ever be a defensive midfielder. He does not have awareness. We considered the second goal because of Castillo's lack of awareness. Castillo turns into a player. How can you be a DM? And not even a DM. How can you be a midfielder and not be aware of a player? Castillo goes and turns into a Cape Town Spurs player. The Cape Town Spurs player is like, oh, okay, this guy is being dumb. And then he takes the ball from Castillo, second goal. We have a very big midfield problem. And I know a lot of us are saying this can be solved by a coach. But the truth is that Chiefs has to make big decisions with regards to that midfield. That midfield has players who are not good enough. They are not good enough for Kaizer Chiefs. And yes, the next coach may be able to make Chiefs end up in the top 4 with the current midfielders. But they're not good, guys. They won't win you anything. Like, the midfielders we have, they don't have an element of creativity. And when I say the midfielders, I'm talking about our DMs. Sitebe, Castillo, Omad, Teto. These guys, number one, they all can't play together. Number two, but anyway, maybe the problem is that they play together. Maybe if the new coach can just fix that. But other than that, guys, I'll continue to make videos tomorrow. But that is the game. That is our final game. The final game of the season. Kaizer Chiefs plays worse than a team that is already preparing for Mvela NFD. Amakhosi for life. That's the last game of the season. Thank you for being a part of the season. We will still be making videos because Chiefs will be announcing a new coach very soon. And you know what? We're just happy the season's over and we deserve to be number 10. We deserve. This is the worst Kaizer Chiefs performance I have witnessed in my entire life as a Kaizer Chiefs supporter. I have never seen a season this bad. I have never seen a season this bad. But anyway, Amakhosi for life. And yeah, please continue to subscribe. Subscribe.